Hey everyone, welcome back to more StarCraft Brood War. We're on Reign of Fire.
The Psi Disruptor is causing me some very serious problems. Although I've regained control of my forces here, it's taking more and more concentration just to keep them in line.
Oh, my heart's breaking for you, Kerrigan. Now exactly why was it that you asked Phoenix and I to bring Minx to you?
Are you still suspicious that I'll kill him for abandoning me to the Zerg? I've gotten over it, Jim. We can't afford to let petty hatreds jeopardize our plans for the UAD.
That's reassuring.
Arcturus, I presume you found your cold sleep chamber accommodating?
What is the meaning of this, Kerrigan?
Straight to the point, huh? I was hoping to chat. It's been a while.
Not long enough. Why have I been brought here?
I need your psi emitters, Arcturus.
Why?
Remember the Confederate Psi Disruptor that you could never find? Well, the UED found it, and it's preventing me from controlling my minions. With the help of your psi emitters, I can gather up enough Zerg to destroy the Disruptor and confront the UED.
And what are you offering me in return?
Ha! Ever the politician. All right, Emperor. If you help me destroy the Disruptor, I'll help you retake Korhal from the UED.
A tempting offer. What assurances do I have of you fulfilling your end of the bargain?
The only thing I can assure you of, Arcturus, is that without my help, you'll be the Emperor of your own little 8x8 cell for the rest of your life.
I see that you're still a persuasive speaker. All right, Kerrigan. I'll lend you some emitters, but this had better be worth it.
All right, here we go.
Alright, boys and girls, listen up. Our objective is to locate and disable the Psi Disruptor's primary power generator. Once we've done that, we'll turn over the mission to Minx and Kerrigan. Let's move out. I'm gone.
In transit, HQ.
Kerrigan, the generator's off.
Gee.
You can send down the psi emitter at any time.
Good work, Jim.
The psi emitter will be carried by one of my SCVs. With the disruptor's power cut, the emitter should be able to get the attention of any renegade Zerg near it. The SCV will then be able to lure the Zerg back to your base. Once the Zerg arrive there, you'll be able to assert direct control over them.
All right, so this is actually my third time doing this mission.
With these Zerg, I can construct a new hive cluster. Once my forces have grown strong enough, I can assault the Psi Disruptor directly.
Oh, excuse me. As what happened the first time was I used both the drones to build a hatchery, and then while I was doing that, the game was like, "Oh, you failed just for having like no drones," which was very surprising. And then the second time was unfortunate because I didn't make that mistake again, but then I started talking about negotiation, or like, you know, how to negotiate. Well, not like how to negotiate, but like negotiation as like a subject. And then I was macroing too hard, and then they sent one attack consisting of 2 fire bats and 1 marine, and I got completely destroyed. So that was fun. So I was like, okay, I need to redo this again. Oh, hello. Dude, if we just gone down the ramp.
Although these Zerg are now under my control, I sense that there are more Zerg out there. We must lure as many of them here as possible.
Dude, had I just gone down the ramp, we would have solved this entire problem. Nah, I felt dumb. Like, cause I didn't even go down the ramp. Ah! Alright, well, you're gonna do nothing for now. And we're actually gonna go ahead and build another hatchery then. As we have the hunter killers. And hunter killers can definitely... If I had the 3 hunter killers, all of this would have been solved. So now on the bright side, because I redid my, I had to redo this, I can reuse the same tangent. So for negotiating, the reason why I brought that up is in that the debriefing, Max was like, "Oh, what can you offer me in return?" And Karen was basically like, "Well, if you don't take me up on my offer, you're gonna be in the same spot that you started out in. Like, nothing's gonna change for you." So Max was like, "Okay, well, sure, then I have to help you," because he couldn't offer anything in return. And had he said no, nothing would have changed. Like, whereas Kerrigan had all the leverage there, so she's like, "Okay, I need your help. Here's what I can offer. I can offer to help take Core Hall back." And then if she says no, like, Max misses out on something, and it's like, okay, like, you can see it in the video game, but like, there's practical, real life examples of this too. So, using myself as an example, for me being a video editor, like when I first started, the service I can offer is video editing, but because I don't have a portfolio, I kind of, like, beggars can't be choosers when it comes to work, because I need a portfolio to really make myself look more appealing. So as such, like, when I negotiate with clients, like when I first started, like, I'm basically at their mercy, and I have to take them up on whatever they offer me. And like, this isn't universally true, but just as an example to get the ball rolling. So they could offer me, like, basically anything, and I'd be like, okay, I have to take it because I don't have any work experience. Whereas now, because, like, I do have more work experience, I can afford to be a little bit more picky with my clients, or at the very least, I can actually negotiate with them. Like, they may say, like, hey, we can offer you this, and I say, well, no, I won't take you up on that because I can get a better offer working for somewhere else. Or, like, I have too many projects going on my plate right now, or, like, based on my work experience, I'm very confident of asking for, like, this amount because, you know, I've been paid this before, or, like, my videos have hit these metrics. Like, right now, like, I'm not an epic tier 3 video editor by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm getting to the point where I do have a portfolio, so I can, like, if someone asks me, like, hey, what have you done for video editing, I can say, like, here's what I've done, and I can show them some things, and, like, you know, off the top of my head, it's like, I've done work for Team Liquid, I can point them to Team Liquid articles, I can point them to the Freaka TV website and say, like, I've done work for these guys as well, or I can go over and point them to Day 9 TV and say, like, here are some of the videos that I have created for Day 9 TV. So I have a bit, like, I have work experience, which is good because that helps me negotiate, because it's like, well, I have experience. Even though that might not necessarily be something that's strictly tangible. But it gives me leverage, and, like, it helps me say no, because I can say, well, based on my work experience, there's things I can say yes or no to. But the brutal thing about work experience is that it's, you need to get a job to get work experience, which is brutal, but then, like, more to the point, you can't get a job for work experience. I don't know if I just said that. You need work. Yeah, this attack right here, that's what absolutely ended me. Let me try this one last time. You need to get a job, you need work experience. But to get work experience, you need a job, which is, like, it's a vicious cycle, and, like, to get started, that's the hard part, because you don't have anything. Holy, that was much easier. So I sympathize for those people who come, like, right out of university, it's hard to get a job. So, like, from my experience, like, in university, I got a position at the research center, and then I got, like, work at the university, because they had things set up at the university that made it possible for people to get, like, for students to, like, to work at places for summer, and try to get some work experience. And the reason, and they did that so that when you got out of university, to like, well, hey, like I have some work experience, which is, you know, valuable to have for that reason. And then, but like even then, like it wasn't a lot. Like had I had to do things differently, I may have. It's tough. Like getting started, I think, is so difficult. Because I've been talking about like work experience, and I think that in itself is hard to get. We should get some creep colonies. But then, like, once you have, you know, the work experience, like connections play a big part in, like, you know, what positions or opportunities are afforded to you. But then also, like, being at the right place at the right time. And luck, like, there's a huge like luck element involved, and there's things you can do to stack the odds in your favor. Like, you know, for me as a video editor, like there's things that I can do to like, create my own work, so to speak, which is very handy. But even then, like it's like, you know, circumstance sometimes, because like even in the case of me like getting or working for Day 9 TV. Part of the reason why that was able to happen in the first place was just because I was making videos that were relevant to them at the right place at the right time. Like, I happened to hit the sweet spot where, like, they didn't have any editors. So they were receptive to, like, trying me on because in their position, something was better than nothing. Ooh, what do we want to upgrade? We'll do this. So I was a very inexperienced editor, so like they just took me on, and what ended up happening was eventually they got a different editor who had more work experience than I did, and I more or less like lost my job. And I want to say like they were very cool and upfront about it, which I really appreciate. But you know they're business first and not a charity. So I was like, yeah, like we would rather use the more experienced editor. And like for the record, like I still do work for them, and they still keep, and I still have that connection over. It's not like they got the better editor and they're like, all right, we're gonna like kick you to the curb. It just meant that I got a lot like less work, and they told me why, and that's completely fine because again, like I was an amateur video editor, and I think in some cases I still am. But like now I'm starting to get a little bit more experience. Whereas the guy they got had a ton of work experience. So like from that sense, it really just made sense that they not replaced me, but I got less work. But anyways, that's beside the point. I totally got distracted. So. But anyways, yeah, so, but had I been making videos, like, so there's a time where there was just me, and then they got the different editor. But had I waited, like, by, like, a factor of, like, 6 months or so, it would have been a completely different ballgame, because they wouldn't have been looking for another editor, because they already had their other guy do the video editing. So I never got my foot in the door. Whereas like now, what ended up happening was their other editor became unavailable. But then, because I already had the foot in the door, I was able to like, well, it's like, hey, like we don't have this editor anymore. Are you interested in doing work for me? I said yes, because like I'm their go-to because they don't have to. They would still rather use me instead of trying to find like a different video editor, which like that works out well for me. Let me actually build a hatchery up here. So, like, in that case, it was, you know, fortuitous that I, was given the opportunities that I were. Because, like, it could have easily been the other case. And you might see saying, like, well, like, you had to work for that, though, right? Like, you just weren't given that. It's like, well, yes, you're not wrong. Like there is effort that you put into it. Oh no, However, like the point that I'm trying to make is that it's a combination of things. I feel like that go into it. So you know, like it's describing the luck element just before, but now it's like okay. So then there's the effort component, and then as far as like connections go, it's like well, like that was me making the connections and using my like video editing. It's like okay, yeah, like that makes sense, but also in terms of oh dear, other jobs, like had I known some different, or if I had known people at my current place that I'm working at, it would have been easier to get in the door. And actually that's what happened anyways to begin with, is that I knew some people from the research center at the place that I work at now. So like after the interview process, my boss asked me like, hey, like what do you think of Ryan? Like is he a good worker? And it was like, yeah, like I've worked with him before, I can actually vouch for him. And like it was like having that connection which like helped me land the job. Oh, you are actually a guy. Which is like I think, and like the way I talk about him, I almost feel like, oh, like it's pretty cut and dry, right? It's like, well, even then, like there's like this element of luck, and then we're all kind of in this rat race as well. Like, because I might be trying to go for a job, but several other people are going for a job as well. I don't like, well, if I give out once. He is. So I guess like for me, like what I'm trying to say is like I get it, man. Like it is a struggle. Like it truly is, and I think life's tough. And like it's in some ways, like when I say it, it almost feels a little hollow. What I'm saying, because like, well, like dude, like you've made it. Like you're doing good. It's like yeah, like I've been very fortunate. And really, like, I don't have much to complain about. Oh, did the SCB die? I feel like he did. Alright, so I guess we just don't get any more, more Hydras. That sucks. Or Hydra Killers, rather. Which is really too bad. And also, I'm wondering if I should get a Spire. Well, let's go attack these Hydras anyways, and then we'll go from there. Oh, nope. So that's what I mean when it comes to negotiating, and I think I've gotten better throughout the years, but there's also like other elements in there as well, like me personally, like I know that I'm a pretty agreeable person, which is great in some ways, but it can be difficult in other ways. Like, so for example, one way that being agreeable works out for me is that, typically speaking, I think people seem to like agreeable people, for the most part, because like you have someone who agrees with you, and people tend to like it when they share similar opinions. So that's good. However, because I'm agreeable, like I'm more likely to defer to other people. And when you defer to other people, it can sometimes be hard to get what you want. And like going to negotiation, one thing that can definitely be a challenge is like, okay, well, if I'm video editing, here's a rate that I think is fair for myself. So like this is what I would like to go for. However, someone might say, well, actually, I want to pay you this. And instead of you know, sticking to my guns and being like, well, no, actually, like, I want to be paid this much, I'm more likely to be like, well, I don't like confrontation and I'm agreeable, so I'm going to accept this subpar pay, when really, like, that's not good. So then you might ask, like, okay, well, what shouldn't you always just, like, be, like, assertive and get what you want? No, because, like, it's sometimes, like, I think being agreeable is the right call. Like, I don't think it's really cut and dry. And like I said, like, pros and cons, like, yes, being agreeable means that sometimes it's more easy, or it's easier for you to get, like, taken advantage of. But again, like, more people are likely to respond to you in a positive manner because, you know, you're easier to work with. Like, and for me, like, for some of the clients that I've worked with, like, once I got my foot in the door, like, I'm under the impression that I have pretty okay service, which the hell is, like, people are like, well, okay, like, I like the service of this guy. So as such, I want to keep working with him because he's easy to work with, and that's where being agreeable can help. But, like, I think in, like, a lot of things in life, it's like everything in moderation. Beautiful. All right. And actually, what we do need is another expansion. So we're going to throw more Hyzisks out at random parts of the map and hope for the best. But we are going to get a Spire. So I think we're going to need Mulisks. Especially now that we have another gas, I think Mulisks are going to be the way to go. As I've gotten older, I think I've gotten better about being, like, assertive, but I also, like, that's why the people who are most assertive or have, like, the strongest personalities, I guess you'd call it, like, type A personalities. They're more likely to get what they want because they know what to ask for and how to ask for it. Oh, is that another expansion? Beautiful. Okay, this is very good for us. So we're gonna take our troops and head back home because we don't need to be here. Let's build another hatchery. Alright, and what our Hyzisks should get there eventually. Oh, start getting Mulisks, but we don't have. Definitely don't have the minerals to make that happen. Boy, what was I talking about? And it's like all those like fine levers and stuff that make life difficult. And so I think, like, based off of me talking, it makes it sound like, well, like, you should definitely work towards being more, you know, assertive or like strong personality. And it's like, maybe in some cases it would have helped, but I'm also like, I really am a big believer in the gentle touch and trying to teach people kindness. Not saying that, like, assertive people can't treat people with kindness, like, that's not the message I'm trying to say at all. But it's just that, can we, sometimes a little kindness goes a long ways, and not to say that people who are non-confrontational are, like, they're screwed, like, they're not, like, they can do very well, because again, because they're friendly, they can make those connections around where people like to work with them. And again, there's so many dynamics that I think for me trying to, like, analyze everything is going to be, well, in some ways, like, a fool's errand, just because, like, there's so much to discuss, and for me to cover everything, that's going to be hard, if not outright impossible. So just some thoughts for you. While I'm at it, how many of you guys sing when, like, you're home alone? Because I know for me, holy, all these drones are just trapped in here. Let us, man, we just don't have the money. So, okay, what we're gonna do is actually scale the Mulisks, because we have a trust fund of gas, and I'm hoping we'll get more minerals, and then we can just go and annihilate ourselves there. Yeah, I think Mulisks are gonna be the way to go here. You know, it's too bad we lost the SCB, as he would have been very helpful. I think we do want 5 weapons. So for singing, it's like, I don't sing in public because I'd be, you know, far too embarrassed for that. Because I don't have a lot of confidence in my singing voice. Yet, like, when I'm just home alone, dude, I'll sing all the time. Which, maybe that's just, I wonder if that's human nature, like, because, like, we sing when we're happy, right? Is that something that we do? I'm not really sure. Like, human psychology is very fascinating to me, but I just do not know anything about it. Oh, there's a gas geyser here, which is very interesting. I appreciate the tree houses and the trees. Oh, there's another expansion to take here. Okay, nice. Three meals can take, right? Beautiful. And like, I feel like for a lot of people, they'll sing, but like just not in public. Unless like they're that confident. Oh, alright, that wasn't good. Unless they're that confident about their singing voice, which like, that's possible. Maybe like, women are more prone to singing than men. Like, I don't really know. Like, this is all guesswork on my part, but I was just thinking about that because I was seeing earlier before I started streaming, or not streaming, but like recording, I'm like singing up a storm. Well, not singing up a storm, but like I was definitely comfortable with singing. Because like I don't do that normally. Like even like recording, like you will not hear me sing. That just won't happen. Like I'm fine to talk about, whoops, random things, as I'm doing right now, and I think I've gotten more comfortable with my commentary the more I've done this. But I mean that's kind of just the nature of the beast. By doing the commentary, or doing it more, like you just become more accustomed to it, and so on and so forth. Basically, practice makes perfect. And if I was really into the idea of singing, I would sing more. Like, I mean, but I don't think that's really a newsflash to anyone. But as it stands right now, like I'm content to sing in my own private time. All right, well.
Forces are under attack.
Perfect. Okay, well I think this is an appropriate time as I need to go attack. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna rally the Mulisks to stay with the Hydralisks. Move our friends close to the ramp. And we'll go crush some faces very soon. So I'm hoping this goes off without a hitch. I think it will, but I will say trying to control this maze are might be problematic. But again, we'll see. We're at 142 supply, which that actually means we're doing really well, and that Terran should probably be screwed as soon as we like go attack. So this is gonna be a glorious time. I also wonder too if there's like just a large set of you guys who are just like, yeah, no, I just don't care much for singing at all. Like, even, like, the quiet people, I guess that's, like, where I would really be interested is, do they sing? Because, like, for me, like, I'm shy initially when it comes to people. Like, I'm not as outgoing as some people. But, like, once I get to the point where, like, I'm familiar with you, then, yeah, like, I'll be talking a lot. So, for me, like, on that front, it makes sense that I would be willing to sing in my spare time. Okay, we kind of just like live these guys. So sorry about that. I kind of remembered that for this mission in particular, breaking this is difficult because they have the high ground, they have bunkers and stuff. So I was like, oh, we should get some mutalisks. But like, I didn't want to attack with just like 2 mutalisks, so I want to get more than that. And it's like, yeah, congratulations, you succeeded. But like, this is just slaughter now. Like, whoops. You succeeded too hard, so I was like, I just, you know. Maybe it'll be more entertaining had I like, not been so overwhelming, but like, this really is my playstyle. Like, both single player and multiplayer is like, you get overwhelming numbers and then you just crush the face. We did it! We destroyed the side disruptor. Woo! Alright guys, thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Until then, goodbye!